Alright, boys, here she is. I was one of the very lucky few who's going to get one of these this year. In case you haven't heard, I think it was like back in late February, early March, Yamaha announced a delay with these. And then I think it was like one of the last days in April, they announced another delay. And with that delay came with a bunch of cancellations. So I think unless you pre-ordered extremely early on, way back in like October of last year, you probably may not be getting one. Of course, this one was supposed to come in March, and it didn't. And then in March, it got delayed to July. And then the dealer was supposed to get a black one in May, which is this month. But they received a shipment yesterday, and lo and behold, instead of a black one, there was a blue one. So I guess Yamaha substituted it at some point. And lucky for me, I was the first pre-order, and I got mine. At least according to my dealer, they're between now and February of 26. They're only going to get 3 more bikes for the next, what is that, like 8 months or whatever it is. So very few people are gonna, I guess, are gonna be able to get one of these this year. So I got it yesterday, rode it home yesterday. Unfortunately, it like poured down rain, so I didn't get to ride it last night. And then I rode it to work this morning. I tried to make this video this morning, but it was cold out. It was rainy and wet, and I was uncaffeinated, so it mostly turned into a mostly me trying to talk and not making much sense. So about to head home. I got one stop I gotta make real quick. But yeah, you can see she has exactly 40 miles. That's me riding home from the dealership, and then me, no, helps if you put the kickstand up. That's me riding home from the dealership and then riding to work this morning. So, like I said, I was not expecting this bike. It wasn't due to arrive until July. So I was literally sitting at my desk on break at work watching R9 videos, because the R9's racing at Moto America Road Atlanta, and the R9 just broke the Super Sport record for the first time in 8 years and set a new lap record there, which is pretty nuts. What's crazy to me, Road Atlanta has 3 very rather large, or not large, Road Atlanta has 3 rather long straights on it, and I was a little surprised to see that the R9 is beating the R1 by a full second there. But I guess the corner speed is more important than the straights. But yeah, anyways, I had originally planned to trade in the MT10 for this. The MT10 I've had a little over 2 years. I pretty much modified it as much as I want to modify it. I just hit 14,000 miles on it. I was trying to offload it before we got too many miles on it while it still had some value. But since this wasn't supposed to come till July, I wasn't ready for it. My plan was to strip the MT10 of all the aftermarket stuff and sell the parts separately and trade the bike in stock. So that couldn't happen. So I ended up buying this, and I still have the MT10. And we're leaving for the Dragon for a week on Monday. So we're going to be up at the Dragon from May 10th to, I think, the 18th, so Monday to Sunday. but I am unfortunately not gonna take this. There's no, as far as I know, there's no crash protection available for this. I've got, I do have stuff that can fit it. I've got Womatech bar end mirror or bar ends. I do have front axle sliders, and I think I have rear axle sliders that'll also fit this. But there's nothing as far as like a frame protection that I can put on this. That, and I don't think I can get the break-in done before Monday. And this is a brand new bike to me. I haven't been on a super sport in a very long time. And the Dragon is also a little chaotic if you've never been there. There's lots of weekend warriors up there that don't know how to drive. Lots of cars that cross double yellows. But also as well, this being a new bike for me, I don't want to take it up there and not have fun because I'm too scared to ride it. Because this bike is, I guess, in a sense, this bike is irreplaceable because you literally can't replace it. At least not for the next year or so. So the MT10 is ready to go. We did the forks on it either last week or the week before. So the forks got serviced. I just changed the oil and filter. I've got a brand new set of Pirelli Corsas to go on it. So a brand new, really sticky set of tires. I'm just gonna take the 10 up there because it's what I'm most comfortable with, and it's ready. The MT10 is ready to fuck. But this bike, from what I've ridden on it so far, I absolutely love it. The tech on it's awesome. I have to get used to the buttons still. But I mean, you can go here to apps. You can change your damn music. The only thing I don't like is I wish they had done, like Apple and Android CarPlay. I don't know why they went with Garmin. I don't know about anybody that uses Garmin. I don't want to pay for a separate subscription just for navigation. But luckily the music works through it, the phone works for it. Oh, I don't have my phone on, but you can click on the weather and it'll show you like a 2, 4, and 6 hour forecast. It'll show you like text messages. It'll show you like who's calling you. You can accept and decline phone calls, and it all works through your Cardo too if you have it set up. So it's pretty cool. And I've also been really impressed. The quick shifter on this bike is just absolutely butter smooth. I thought the one on the MT10 was really good, but this one is super smooth. So we are going right here. I gotta run in here real quick, so I'll probably pause this video and I'll unpause it when I come back out. I'm just gonna take one of these parking spots right here. But yeah, I'll pick this back up as soon as I get out. Alright, ran my errand, so we'll get out of here real quick, do a quick walk around. Here she is. A little dirty this morning. Like I said, I rode it to work this morning. It was a little wet, but a little bit of road grime on it, but not too bad. I'll spray it off when I get home. So things I'm most surprised about, I guess you could say, the color. It looks a lot darker, especially in the press stuff, but in person, like the blue really pops, especially in the sunlight. It's got a really nice, like metallic sparkle in it. I don't know if it'll pick up on camera, especially with YouTube compression, but it's got a really nice metallic flake in it. It really pops in the sunlight, and the lines of the bike. It's hard to tell, but in person it looks really good. I really can't wait to get an undertail on this thing because that stock chunk on the back is hideous. But overall, it looks really good. I'm gonna go with the Acra full race titanium. Pretty much what you see like on the World Superbike R9s and the Moto America bikes. And then once I get that, I don't know if I'm gonna do any airbox modifications. Um, I'm not really a huge fan of like the DNA stuff because I don't like lubing filters and shit. So I don't know if I'll go that route, but we're definitely gonna do an exhaust, and we'll get the ECU sent out to Two Wheel Dyno Works. But yeah, here she is. Looks massive. The looks of the bike, especially these front spoilers. And a lot of the literature, they it's kind of iffy about it, but in person they look really 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 good. So we'll hop on this real quick and get going. So now that I did remember to turn my phone on. So you've got navigation, the music, you got your phone, it displays your cell signal, your battery. Of course, you can click on the weather. It takes a second to load. But yeah, you can see it's Friday. The high today is 78. The next hour, there's a 0% chance. And then, the next 3 hours, there's a 0% chance. So that's kind of a cool feature. Like if you're out and about on a ride and it's a little dark out and you're wondering if it's going to rain. And you can check that while you're riding too. You're not locked out of it. So I haven't gone through and looked at a lot of the dash stuff, because there's like a track mode that'll show you like lean angle and stuff like that. I haven't had a chance to check any of that stuff out yet, because I literally just got the bike yesterday. But yeah, the new controls, I haven't, I guess the same ones that are on like the MT-09. The self-canceling turn signals are pretty cool. One thing that I like about this that's not on any other Yamahas, oops, I just fucking about twisted the gas, at least on my MT-10, is you can't switch the ride modes while you're moving, and on this you can, which is pretty awesome. So to touch back up on the delays, as far as I know, we knew about the delays, and the delays were tied to something with the frame. They were having issues mass producing them, but as far as I know, I hadn't heard or seen anybody say that it was about quality control issues. But I guess from what the dealer told me yesterday, I don't know who he heard it from, but apparently a lot of the frames that they're producing are coming out bent or crooked or basically not straight. So I don't know. Like I said, the press release, or not, it's not really a press release, but the dealer release, I don't know if it's supposed to be public knowledge or not, but I guess Yamaha canceled a lot of pre-orders, and they're not going to hit anywhere near the allotment that they gave everybody. So I don't know of anybody else that in this area that got one of these, and like I said, they're only expecting 3 more between now and February 2026. So it's gonna be few and far between seeing these out on the road, which sucks because it really does seem like an amazing bike. I can't wait to get this thing broken in and get this thing up in the mountains. Especially once we get, I have yet to dial in the suspension. I gotta break out my Motul tracker, set up the preload and stuff, and at least verify that everything's set to what the manual says for at least a starting point.
because the way it feels great as is. Preload seems like it's set a little too high. But the bike, you know, feels great. Extremely nimble. The suspension's very compliant. I can't wait to put some miles on this, get comfortable with it, and then really start to push it. Shave some weight off of it. We'll take the chunk off the rear. This car behind me is making me nervous. Ride my ass. This guy riding my ass completely took away my train of thought. But yeah, I can't wait to get some miles on this. Get comfortable with it, push it. Get some weight reduction on it. Get that titanium exhaust. Get this bread basket off the bottom. It sucks the exhaust on this thing is so hideous because I actually don't mind the sound of it. It sounds, to me, it sounds pretty good. It just looks like shit. The metal that they use for it, it's multiple different colors and shit. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the, I don't know, I haven't decided on the exhaust. The race fit exhaust that they made for the MT-09 looks really, really, really good. But I have a feeling it's probably gonna come in around like $1,500-1,600 bucks. The Acura race is full titanium as well. And I don't know if the price is going to increase, but the price that I'm seeing out there right now is around $1,100 bucks. So I don't know. We'll see. If Race Fit, the Acura still isn't available. I've seen Spark has one out, and then I saw today that Two Wheel Dynaworks had I guess one of the pre-release M4 exhausts. I don't know what it is about M4. I don't like them. I don't know if it's just the way they look. I'm not a huge fan of carbon fiber. Maybe if they made like a stainless or titanium version, I'd be more keen on it. I just don't like the way carbon fiber looks, especially once it gets maybe a couple years age on it. It starts delaminating and fading. I don't know. Just not a fan of the way it looks. I would love to support M4 because they are in the US. I just don't like the way that their shit looks. So I don't know. We'll see if Race Fit has theirs out soon. Maybe I might go with that one, but if not, we'll just go with the Acura. I love my Race Fit on the MT-10. The quality's top notch, though it is insanely loud. And I'd probably almost bet money that this bike is louder than the MT-10. C4s or the... Jesus Christ, what are you doing, bitch? Why are you blaring on the horn when you're in the wrong? The CP4 is inherently bassy. It sounds like a V4. But the CP3, I had a Tracer 900 for a little while that had the CP3 on it, and I put an exhaust on it, and it was it was very loud. The tone on these is a lot higher pitched. Oh, he's putting his spoiler up. I wish I had a different route to get home that wasn't sitting in traffic. Those TTs are not even fast. Like a little pimply faced teenager. I raced one of those in my Fox Body Mustang. They're pretty quick, like off the line, because I think they're all-wheel drive. But by no means do they make like decent power. I remember, God, that had to been, what is it, 2025? It had to have been maybe 12 years ago when I had my Fox Body Mustang. When I first got it, before I put turbo on it, I had like a, I don't remember, it was like, I had the 150 shot of nitrous on it, and we were out street racing late one night, and we were at this place, and the guy had an Audi TT like that, and the place that we were street racing, it wasn't very big. It might have been 8th Mile, but the Audi TT, the guy had I don't know what all he had done to it. He definitely had an ECU flash, and he had a manual boost controller on it and shit. And that thing was just destroying everybody off the line because it was all-wheel drive, and he was getting traction on it when nobody else was. So we took my Mustang out there, and at the time I had 15-inch drag radials on it, and I had everything on it. I had bottle warmer, all that stuff. So we lined it up, launched it, got a decent launch out of it, and then quickly shifted into second gear and hit the arm to the nitrous and just dusted him. And he kept wanting to run like over and over again, and every time we would run, he would like take it over to the corner of the parking lot trying to crank the boost up on it. And long story short, after I ran him a couple times, I parked it and accidentally left the bottle warmer on the nitrous. And a bottle warmer will kill a regular battery very quickly. And the cops ended up showing up, and my battery was dead, and I couldn't leave. Yeah, it was a crazy night. Yeah, I would love to take this up there, but I can't do it. Fuck's the, oh, guys blowing grass and shit in the road. I hate it when people do that. Bro, like, this is a freaking, like, main road, 2-lane highway. You shouldn't be blowing grass clippings into the road. People are just, I don't know, too lazy to dispose of them properly, so they just blow the shit in the road, and the cars, sweep it up. I don't want to have to layer down because we hit some clippings. But yeah, this is my first sport bike since like 2010. I had a 06 R1 that was mint. I wish I still had it. I mean, that was I should not have had that bike. I could not. I was young. I was like 23. It was my second bike. Before that, I had an 02 Honda 600 F4i. I bought it off my buddy who had wrecked it. Gave him $1,000 for it, and fixed most of the damage and sanded the fairings down, painted them, and then put new decals on it and sold it very shortly after for $3,500. I saved up a little bit more and combined it with the money that I got from that bike and bought that R1. But of course, bikes back then, I mean, you could get a really low mile 2 or 3 year old bike for $6,000. But I had that bike for a little while, and then at the time I needed another car, so I ended up trading it for the Fox Body Mustang that I had for 10 plus years. But that bike, I wish I had kept it. That bike had a lot of nice pieces on it. Vortex rear sets, a lot of aftermarket seat cowl and stuff that was painted to match the bike. You know, undertail, sprockets, chain, aftermarket clip-ons, aftermarket triple. That was a really nice bike. But yeah, this is my first time on a sport bike since 2010. I've been basically without riding from 2010 to like 2022. I didn't own a bike, and then I bought another. I bought a cruiser. I bought a Honda VTX 1300 that I got a really good deal on. Rode that, went to the mountains, scraped foot pegs everywhere. So I decided I wanted something a little bit more sportier. So I ended up what did I buy after that? I bought a Honda 2016 Honda FJR 1300, which was a really good bike, and I honestly wish I still had that at this point too. Rode that for a little while. I think I bought that for like $9,500. Sold it maybe a couple months later. For whatever reason, the 2016 and upward, which is what the current generation FJR is, that's how long it's been since Yamaha updated that bike. They don't pop up for sale hardly ever. I had to travel like 6 hours to go get that, and it was the only one that I could find. So I think I bought that bike for like $9,500. Rode it for 6 months, put a bunch of miles on it, put exhaust on it, and then I sold it for 11 grand. But to keep on what I was saying is, you know, I bought that. That was basically a sports touring bike, and realized I still wanted something sportier, so I bought 2006 FZ1 that had been converted to a naked bike. Had that for a little while, and then I used the money from selling the FJR. I sold the FZ1 to my buddy, and that's when I bought my 2023 MT10 with, and pretty much converted that as much sport bike as I could. I put the Giles adjustable rear sets on them, lifted those up as high as they'll go, and then I put Woodcraft clip-ons. So that thing is about as sport bike as you can make a naked bike. And then I had my last year, because the MT10, as much as I love that bike, it's stupid powerful, just super smooth, but it's heavy. It's, still, even with all the mods, titanium exhaust, all that stuff, I bet it's still probably easily 450 pounds. So I was going to downsize the MT10. I was going to trade it in for a MT09 SP, and I had one on pre-order. And I had heard rumors about Yamaha announcing the R9 this year. Everybody thought it was going to come last year, but it didn't. And I said if Yamaha announces an R9, I'll buy it, because that's I keep moving further towards a sport bike, and I want something lighter. I don't necessarily want a 600. I want, before the R9 came, everybody wanted an R6, and the R6 prices are freaking stupid. Like, it doesn't make sense. So I didn't want another leader bike. I don't, you can't use that power even as fast as we ride in the mountains. Like, a leader bike it's too much. I don't need 200 horsepower. So I was going to either get a 600, and some of the bikes I considered were like the CBR 600RR, the new one, which is for some reason still not even available in the US. And then I had considered, possibly like a 636 or something like that. But I said I'd rather have a Yamaha, and I said if Yamaha announces an R9, I'll buy it. So as soon as they announced it, I canceled my MC09 SP pre-order, and I swapped it to this. And I don't know, it's still early. We're at 53 miles now, but I have a feeling I'm going to be extremely happy on this. I wanted a smaller displacement, lighter bike, and I think I always thought that CP3 motor at that power level, with that torque in a super sport chassis, like it just sounds like a perfect winning combination. And all the haters, I don't know if the people who dislike this bike just don't understand bikes, but or if it's maybe the naming of it, like R9. I think it's supposed to be like faster than an R1, or it's supposed to replace the R1, or I don't know, it's supposed to replace the R6. Like, I don't know. I mean, I hate to break it to all those people, but Yamaha quit making the R6 because it wasn't selling, just like the R1. Yamaha allotted, I think, 200 R1s to EU last year, and they didn't sell. Like, there was still leftover inventory at the end of the year. Like, people bitch and complain about the R1, like the equipment, they're gonna quit making it, well, they have quit making it. But people bitch and complain that Yamaha quit making it, but Yamaha quit making it because people quit buying it. You can't fault Yamaha for that. They're not going to keep developing a super sport, that they can't even sell 200 of. I don't know what the U.S. allotment of the R1s are. At least here, I don't know. At least here in the U.S., I don't know if it's because the people think that it's the last year for it, which, as far as I know, Yamaha hasn't announced that they're going to discontinue making it in the U.S., but at least here in the U.S., the dealers can't keep them in stock. But, everything that this bike has for the price point, I can't think of another bike that's even close that's out there. You got the new Ducati V2, but that thing starts at, I think, 16 or 17,000. And everything that you get with this, you get, once you get it flashed and tuned with an exhaust, you're going to be sitting, probably right at 120 horsepower. You've got Brembo Stylemas, you've got really good KYB suspension that's fully adjustable. You got a rear KYB that's fully adjustable with a remote preload, 6-axis IMU, all the tech that's in it. Like, I can't think of another bike that, for the feature set that you get, 12.5 for this thing is a steal. Just like you said, you got the you got the Ducati V2 that's sitting up there at 16, 17 grand. You got the Honda CBR 600, which the US still hasn't even gotten the newest version of. That thing's sitting up there like 11.5, something like that. And you got the 636 that's sitting up there at like 12K, and then you got the Gixxer 600, which is also sitting up there around 11.5, something like that. Like, for what you get in this thing, like it's phenomenal. You know, it's $500 more than a MT-09 SP. You get most of the same tech that's on the SP, but you get different forks. You know, you don't get the rear Öhlins, but you know, you get something that's, you know, that the rear shock on this, you know, it's not an Öhlins, but it's not terrible either. You know, I would rate the rear shock on this as probably slightly better than the shock that comes on the stock R1 or what's on my MT10. So I don't know. I think this is a great value. I think the power that this thing makes, you know, it's the horsepower is on par with an R6. You don't get the 16K rev range, but you know, you get it once you get it flashed and tuned. The rev, you know, you get it. I think it revs out. I think when they extend it out, they extend it out to like 12.8 or 12.5, somewhere around there. So you do get more usable rev range. And then once I don't think I'll ever do this bike, but you can even go further and put cams in it and extend it out even more. Plus, I think once you get this motor above, because of the stroke and everything, once you get this motor above 11.5, like the piston speed is actually faster than the R6 is at 16,000 RPMs. But you know, you get almost twice the torque that an R6 can put out. Plus, I don't know if anybody follows World Supersport. I mean, this thing in the World Supersport's straight dominating. And then in Moto America as well, it's starting to. It wasn't available at the start of the season because they couldn't get it homologated in time. Because Moto America is a much smaller. Moto America is a lot smaller of a. What's the word I'm trying to say? It's a much smaller organization. Like, the homologation process is going to take a little longer. So it wasn't ready for the start of the season for like Daytona and stuff. But now that it is in there and it is racing, you know, it's starting to show that it can dominate in Moto America too. And as far as I know, like, those bikes, they're using, you know, stock bikes. You know, they put I don't know the World Supersport rules, but you know, those are stock bikes that I think they might have cams in them, maybe airbox changes, but for the most part, it's a relatively stock bike.